Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm now a Glock owner, and for my first video about Glocks, I'm going to be mounting the Trijicon RMR on the Glock 34 MOS. The story of how I got here is very straightforward. I was in the market for a centerfire handgun that was factory cut to accept a red dot optic, and after weighing my very limited options, I decided on the Glock 34 MOS. The optic of choice is the Trijicon RMR, even though the MOS is modular, hence the name, modular optic system, for a variety of optics from different manufacturers like Seymour, Insight, Mayopta, Leupold, so on. And the Trijicon RMR was my decision because out of the bunch, it seemed to be the most rugged and most proven, so to say, out of the group, and it also has the option of being dual illuminated, non-battery powered. This one is fiber optic and tritium powered, so you don't have to worry about adjusting the brightness based on environmental brightness, because the amber dot, there it is, you see a glare on my screen. I'll be showing you the dots in different lighting conditions later in the video, but the dot adjusts its intensity based on your environment. And what else you get in the package? You get mounting screws, Trijicon sticker, warranty registration, a quick catalog, aka Trijicon sight porn, and you have a manual on how to use your RMR reflex sight. Okay, so what Glock doesn't tell you and what doesn't come with the Glock 34 MOS is the mounting plate adapter that you need to mount your Trijicon RMR on the MOS. This is the spring clip, and you can see that there is a convex side and a concave side. The convex side is what you put upward, so it's like a spring clip. The mounting plate that we're going to be using is the number 2 mounting plate, and I've already doused down the slide surface and the mounting plate surface with some brake clean so Loctite can make a better bond. So we're going to be aligning the large holes on the number 2 mounting plate with the holes on the slide, and after a dab of Loctite in each, we're going to be putting on the screws. And your MOS kit should come with the necessary hex key. So next we're going to put the spring clip onto the mounting plate with the convex portion facing up. All right, next I'm going to align the RMR over the holes, and the 2 holes on the RMR in front should align with these 2 on the mounting plate. Okay, we're going to put the screws through the RMR to secure it to the plate. And use the tool that Trijicon provides. Okay, and because the mounting system for the Glock MOS is not very robust, you want to be careful to not use the long arm of the Allen key, only use the short head. That should minimize the chance of stripping the screws, because when I mounted the Burris Fastfire onto the number 1 plate, I stripped 2 of the screws that came with it, and I had to use 2 replacement screws. So here we are mounted, and we should be able to co-witness the dot with the sights, but it's not zeroed. So let's go look at the dots in a variety of different lighting conditions. So I've gone ahead and co-witnessed the RMR's dot with the AmeriGlow suppressor height sights. Even though they're marked Trijicon AmeriGlow makes the sights but uses Trijicon vials, And you can see how the sights co-witness just barely. And if I can get just the RMR's dot to resolve, if I can get the Galaxy Note 4's camera to cooperate, there you go. This is in a somewhat brightly lit kitchen looking at a white wall, but one of the drawbacks of having a dual illuminated sight is the possibility of washout when you're in a dark area looking into a well lit area. And let me show you what it is. So you can see now I'm in my completely dark bedroom, and the night sights have glow, but you can pretty much not pick up the dot at all. I can pick it up with my eye, but the camera is not picking it up. So this is one of the drawbacks of having a dual illuminated optic instead of a battery powered one. See, even with the flashlight on, I can't really find the dot. So that's why co-witness is important. And one of the reasons I decided against the loopholed Delta Point Pro, because it doesn't co-witness with the Glock sights. You have to use the integrated Delta Point Pro rear sight. So let's talk about some final thoughts regarding the Glock 34 MOS with the Trijicon RMR. And this is the Insight pistol light, by the way. So obviously this isn't going to be a full review because I just put on the Trijicon RMR, but another reason why I chose the dual illuminated version of the RMR instead of the LED RMR is because, as I've mentioned very briefly earlier in the video, the MOS system is not very robust of a mounting solution. You want to minimize the amount of times you put on and take off the optic. And one of the drawbacks to the Trijicon RMR design is that the battery versions of the RMR can't have their batteries swapped out without unmounting the optic. So re-zeroing is going to have to happen because, again, the RMR MOS mounting system from Glock isn't very robust. And you also run the risk of stripping the screws, which I've already done with the Burris Fastfire when I mounted that, probably because of my error instead of, more the fault of the mounting solution. But I chose the amber dot because there's only two choices. You can get amber or green. So I've never used an amber dot before, and I'm actually kicking myself for the decision to go with an amber dot because there's not a whole lot of contrast. So I think you might have a better chance using the green dot. I haven't had a chance to test it in direct sunlight yet, so I figure that sunlight will do better at giving the dot more contrast. And again, as you've seen a demonstration of, one of the drawbacks of having the dual illuminated option is the chance of washout when the fiber optics don't kick in because you're aiming from a dark area into a well lit area. But again, you don't have to fumble with brightness adjustment like you would with an LED. With an LED, you run the risk of too much bloom from your dot because you had it adjusted super bright, but you're in a now dimly lit area. And so there's positives and negatives to each, and after much deliberation I did decide on the dual illuminated option. The adjustments can be done with a coin or with flathead screwdriver. The click adjustments are very tactile. You can feel them through even a heavy tool like this one, and you can hear the click. And it's 1 MOA in either direction, left or right, or up and down per click. The dot size is 7 MOA, and you can get, I think, a 3.5 MOA for dual illuminated. I know you can get a 12.9 MOA triangle, but I still like having a dot over a triangle. So I will be giving a full review of the Glock 34 MOS once I have at least 1,000 rounds with it. I only have about 300 rounds using just the suppressor sights and the burst fast fire. So keep an eye out for a review to come at a later date. I hope this video was informative.